Happily, the French police are well ahead of the British when it comes to fingerprints. The great Bertillon himself was kind enough to refer to my little pamphlet on the subject as his Bible. As I suspected, our man had been involved in petty crime in the past. A Spaniard named Mendoza. There is your thief.
Not a pleasant specimen. Mr. Holmes, France owes you a great debt.
We have not got the man. And more important, the painting.
But he must be arrested immediately.
He may have already sold it.
No, gentlemen. It is my belief that the painting is still in Mendoza's keeping. He is only a pawn in a much bigger game. This robbery has been carefully planned over months, even years, by a master criminal.
But what professional criminal would want to own the Mona Lisa? That is madness. He can't sell it.
I believe the master criminal is not interested in the original. If he can pass off the forgeries as originals for the same price. Gentlemen, we must alarm Mendoza. Get him on the move. So he leads us to the center of the web.
But how?
First, we must announce to the world that the painting has been stolen.
Oh, but that would create a great scandal, both myself and the director.
Minister, please, if I may explain. It will be announced that owing to the brilliant and tireless efforts of yourself and the director, that the criminal is about to be arrested.
Mr. Holmes, we must arrest him now.
No.
Holmes, I understand that the recovery of the original would make it impossible for the thieves to sell any copies, however excellent those copies were. But did you have any clue to the identity of the mastermind behind the whole scheme?
I was satisfied that I had recognized one of Professor Moriarty's agents.
Moriarty?
Notice the subtle modeling of the features, beautiful hands, mood, that smile. As Walter Pater described her, the head upon which all the ends of the world are come, and the eyelids are a little weary.
No one else has ever had the genius to paint this masterpiece, except Da Vinci. Well, if you look at the paintwork, sir.
Leonardo's signature, writ large. The brushwork, mano sinistra. The bloom, the sfumato technique. Will you excuse me?
I would say, without hesitation, that the general opinion of the art world is that this is the greatest portrait ever painted.
I very much regret to have to tell you, sir, that this painting is no longer for sale.
I don't understand, Professor. I mean, the price, maybe? Well, now look, I'll reconsider. I'll give you a cool $4 million. How's that?
I'm sorry, Mr. Morgan. The painting is no longer for sale.
Huh? Hey, what you guys up to? Take your hands off me, you mick! For sakes, for nothing. Get out of here quick enough, you fuckers. Go get lost.
Richard Holmes has recovered the original. These are worthless. Destroy them. Burn them. Do it yourself. Let no one else see you.
Yes, Professor Moriarty.
Must congratulate you, Holmes. Such an honor, and so well deserved.
It was no great problem. The case practically solved itself.
I hear you had a visitor this morning.
Ow! I had not been back in Baker Street more than half an hour when...
But you cannot go up there, sir.
You have less frontal development than I should have expected. It's a dangerous habit to finger loaded firearms in the pocket of one's dressing gown. You evidently don't know me.
On the contrary, I think it's fairly evident that I do. I can spare you 5 minutes, if you have anything to say.
All that I have to say has already crossed your mind.
And possibly my answer has already crossed yours.
You stand fast.
Absolutely.
You frustrated me in the affair of the French gold.
Ah. So it was you behind the Red-Headed League. A very ingenious and well-contrived idea.
High praise from you. You crossed my path first on the 4th of January. By the middle of February, I was seriously inconvenienced by you. And at the end of March, I was absolutely hampered in my plans. And now, with this last business in France, you have placed me in such a position by your continual persecution that I am in positive danger of losing my liberty. The situation is becoming an impossible one.
Have you any suggestion to make?
You must drop it, Mr. Holmes. You really must, you know.
And what if I refuse?
I'm quite sure that a man of your intelligence will see that there can be but one outcome to this affair. It is necessary that you should withdraw. You have worked things in such a fashion that we have only one resource left. It has been an intellectual treat to me to see the way in which you've grappled with this matter. But I say unaffectedly that it would be a grief to me to be forced to take an extreme measure. Oh, you smile, sir. But it really would, I do assure you.
Danger is part of my trade.
This is not danger. It is inevitable destruction. You stand in the way not merely of an individual, but of a mighty organization, the full extent of which even you, with all your cleverness, have been unable to realize. You must stand clear, Mr. Holmes, or be trodden underfoot.
You know, I'm afraid that in the pleasure of this conversation, I am neglecting business of importance, which awaits me elsewhere.
Well, well. It seems a pity. But I've done what I could. This is a duel between you and me, Mr. Holmes. You hope to place me in the dock. You hope to beat me. If you are clever enough to bring destruction on me, rest assured, I shall do as much for you.
You have paid me several compliments, Mr. Moriarty. Let me pay you one in return when I say that if I were assured of the former eventuality, I would, in the interests of the public, cheerfully accept the latter.
I can promise you the one, but not the other.
He is the Napoleon of crime, Watson. For years, I have endeavored to break through the veil which shrouded him. And at last, I have seized a thread and followed it to Moriarty himself. And now I'm ready to close on him.
If he doesn't close upon you first.
On Monday, next, matters will be ripe. The professor and all the principal members of his gang will be in the hands of the police. Then will come the greatest criminal trial of the century. The clearing up of over 40 mysteries and the rope for all of them. I cannot do better than to get away for the few remaining days. It would give me great pleasure, Watson, if you would come onto the continent with me.
The continent? I'd be delighted, Holmes, but where?
Anywhere. It's all the same to me.
Yes, but won't we have to dispose of Professor Moriarty first? It seems to me that we're under siege in this very room.
Oh, that reminds me. I must be on my way.
Won't you stay the night?
No, it's too dangerous for you if I stay here. I will leave the way I came and find lodgings with my brother Mycroft. We start tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow morning?
Oh, yes, it is most necessary. Now, here are your instructions, and I beg of you to follow them to the letter.